welcome back. Now, Israel's incoming Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, said a few weeks back that if elected, he planned to neutralise the maritime border deal with Lebanon. In an interview with a Lebanese newspaper, Amos Hochstein, the US envoy who brokered the deal, said he didn't believe that would happen. Well, meanwhile, the French oil giant Total Energy says it's set to begin drilling off the Lebanese coast as early as next year. To talk more about all of that, we're joined by Dr. Efraim Chalamish. She's an NYU and Kroll Institute Fellow. Thank you very much indeed for being with us tonight. Now, Netanyahu, thank you for joining us. Well, Benjamin Netanyahu has made it clear, hasn't he? He doesn't think that the deal with Lebanon was good for Israel. Would he and could he overturn it, in your view?
I think the train pretty much has left the station, as we just heard. Various energy companies like Total and Energean already started operating on the ground. And I think at the end of the day, the new Israeli government will be concerned more about stability in the region, security, and new economic opportunities. So I think at the end of the day, although we heard mixed feelings about the agreement during the elections campaigns, I think what we're going to see now over the next couple of weeks and months, really new focus on the execution of the agreement and understanding the benefits of the agreement to the various parties. So
you would say that was more of an election ploy rather than actual policy?
I think the priorities will be different, and I think once the government is fully formed, the focus is going to be on understanding the benefits of the agreements and also understanding that the various risks of changing the agreement or its policies going to have significant ramifications in the region.
Well, the outgoing Prime Minister, Yair Lapid, of course, emphasised that the deal with Lebanon was, in his view, a de facto normalisation. Do you see any advantages in terms of diplomacy?
I think when you look at the agreement right now, various parties in the region and frankly around the world, people really amazed by the speed of the agreement and its significant ramifications, both in terms of economics, politics, and national security. I think we understand that you can achieve quite a bit if you focus on concrete, narrow items. So I think we should differentiate between the benefits of maritime agreement and other parts of the relationships between Israel and Lebanon. I think there is no doubt that over the next couple of months and years, more and more parties in the region will try to find ways to sign similar agreement without getting into the heart of the disagreements and the crisis between the nations.
Well, would you say that the deal is solid from the Lebanese side? They are, of course, undergoing extreme political instability. They're yet to elect a president, for example. Will the Lebanese respect the agreement, including, of course, paying royalties to Israel?
Of course. So I think Lebanon understands that they need new sources of energy. As you mentioned, Laura, Lebanon is going through significant economic challenges, whether we're talking about blackouts, whether we're talking about other economic challenges. So I think this agreement and its execution is extremely important. And we already heard various Lebanese executives and officials, politicians focus on the agreements and its execution. So I think what we're going to see is really Lebanon's participation in the agreement. And Total, as you just mentioned, already started drilling. And we already see how the various political parties within Lebanon are looking into ways to convert these new drilling initiatives into real energy sources and economic benefits to Lebanon moving forward.
Of course, there's always the possibility that there won't be any gas in the Kana field. Is there a risk that such a discovery would exacerbate tensions between Israel and Lebanon?
Look, even in the Israeli case, as we all know, the major discoveries took place more than a decade ago, like Tamar and Leviathan drilling project. And still it took a couple of years until we saw the drilling and also the flow of natural gas. So I think we all understand that it's going to take a couple of years. The goal is really to expedite the process by better policies and by better execution of the agreement. I think that the focus should should really be on ways to connect the new discoveries to the greater energy story in the region. So even if at the end of the day, going back to your excellent question, even if at the end of the day, the discoveries will be more limited, there are so many other benefits. For example, agreements and collaboration around renewable energy projects. We already know that Total, for example, is pretty involved in renewable energy projects in the Arab world, the Gulf, in the region at large. So I think we're going to see more and more opportunities for collaboration around traditional oil and gas projects and renewable energy.
Dr. Efraim Chalamish, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Have a good evening.